Hi everybody, I just thought I'd do a quick video, sort of like an update on these Motorola i355's. So I did a video which I'll put a link to in the description below a while back on these radios, and a few people emailed me asking questions about them. So I thought I'd do sort of like a short video to answer some of them questions. There's about 5 or 6 questions I was asked about these little radios. So I'll put a link for the description, in the description of the other video that I did. So if you want to find out about these radios, just watch that. But these are basically cell phones that came out in America that were used in North America and South America on their networks that have made their way over into the UK. And as well as being a cell phone or a mobile phone, they have a push-to-talk function. It's like a radio function as well. I won't go into too much detail on that, so I'll just answer the questions. So the first question was, do they still work as mobile phones? So no, they don't. They work on IDEN 800 networks in the USA and South America, which I think are on 800 megahertz, hence the name. So they don't work on UK networks. Even if a UK SIM was put into one of these, which you can put SIM cards in, it wouldn't. They wouldn't work in the UK at all. I think they still work in North America and South America. You can see the SIM cards there, but they will not work in UK on the UK network. So if you were looking to buy one of these to use as a radio and a mobile phone, no, they won't work to make calls, which is a shame really, but there we are. Second question was, what frequency do they operate on? So they don't operate on a set frequency. They operate on a digital standard that hops around the 900 megahertz band. So this was marketed as direct talk, so that when these are switched on, when they can't find a network, they'll switch to direct talk mode, which it should do now. And direct talk is basically the push to talk function. So in theory, when these were being used, you're out of range of a cell tower. You can keep in touch with your mates, your colleagues, whoever you're with, via direct talk. So the technology that direct talk uses is 900 megahertz ISM band, and it provides 10 FHSS, which stands for frequency hopping spread spectrum, channels for off-network push-to-talk communications between individual phones that aren't necessarily in range of a wireless tower or a cell phone tower. So frequency hopping spread spectrum is a method of transmitting radio signals by rapidly switching a carrier among many frequencies. So it's sort of like a pseudo-random sequence, so it appears random but it's actually not, known to the transmitter and the receiver. So these two know the sequence of channels, and that's how they operate on, if that makes sense. So it's used as a multiple access method in the frequency hopping code division multiple access scheme, which is basically FH, frequency hopping, and CDMA, which is what a lot of digital standards run to now. So basically they transmit and receive on different frequencies all the time. So there isn't, you can't keep. So for example, you can key up your DMR radio, in a digital mode on a frequency, and you'll hear the signal on that frequency. With these, the frequency is back and forward up the band, up the 900. I think it's 912 to 928. But correct me if I'm wrong. Megahertz, and they just all the way through that band. So they don't operate on a set frequency. Hope that made sense. Can they be monitored? No, not really. If someone had an i355 or a similar radio on the same channel and the same code, so you can see here, this one is on channel 1, code 1. So if someone else had a radio on that channel and that code, they could listen in, but if they were in range, it's very, very unlikely. Governments, etc., may be able to listen in. Networks can't, because the direct talk doesn't operate on a network, and I doubt someone like Ofcom here in the UK would have the means to listen in to a conversation on here. So yeah, they could be monitored, but unlikely. What's the output power was question number 4. 0.5 watts, so the same as your average walkie-talkie. So no great power output here because of the small battery, and it's not the primary function of the phone. So yeah, just half a watt. What is the range like? Again, I get asked this question on a lot of radios. How long's a piece of string really? They go as far as the battery, the antenna, the weather, the terrain and conditions allow. Same as any radio device. You know, a good few miles in an open area with no obstructions, half a mile in a built-up area. Digital modes have a slightly better range, like for example DMR and DPMR simplex and D-Star simplex, in my experience has a lot better range when compared to analog. So even if it's the same radio, you know, the analog, for example, a TYT MD380, a lot of people will agree the range is better on digital than it is on analog by far. So so what's the range like? It all depends. You know, if you're on a hilltop to hilltop, you get a good few miles out of these. If you're in a built-up area, you know, anything from half a mile to, you know, as little as a couple of 100 yards. So yeah. And the last one, again, a few people have messaged me saying, like, would you recommend them? Would you get them? My question to anyone asking that would be, would you use them? They're illegal to use here in the UK. I'm not sure about America, but they're illegal to use in the UK. Although you probably never get caught. A £50 DPMR radio will perform better, and an £80, for example, TYT MD380 will also outperform these because there's more output power there. They are a lot more rugged, they're a lot more private, slightly cheaper, but I only have these because I collect them. I collect things like this. So you know, for those of you who watch this channel, you'll never ever see me using these like in the field or range testing them really, because they are illegal to use, and normal radios will outperform them. So yeah, that's just a few of the questions that people have got in touch about with these radios slash phones. If I've missed any questions, just drop me a comment in the box below. If I'm wrong on anything, please let me know. I'm always willing to learn stuff and willing to you know, take on board feedback. So if I've got any of this stuff wrong, which I hope I haven't, just let me know. Drop me a comment below. And yeah, that's the Motorola i355. Just some of your questions answered. Thanks for watching. 7-3 for now.